You see that? You see how fast that stuff goes down? I don't know what was up with that. So, can y'all hear me now? Let me unmute myself here. All right, I'm waiting for it to catch up. Hold on. I got y'all. I got you. Man, this is crazy. All right, so I can hear me. I really need to move this monitor over here so that I can actually see what is going on. Give me a half. Well, that doesn't matter because I need to see that the output is going out. Anyway, let me refresh that, folks. Again, I was able to hear the intro music, not you. All right, so let's actually just do it again. How about that one? Hey, folks, AJ the CEO here. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hey, folks, AJ here. I hope that y'all can hear me now. So I don't know what was going on. I was trying a different Bluetooth headset so that I can hear. It's a transmitter that I'm testing out. I don't know what in the world was going on with that. And I got to keep looking over here. I need to move another monitor over here so I can actually see the output here. But anyway, folks, I hope y'all are all doing well. Thank you. Hopefully that y'all can hear me. I'm keeping an eyeball over here so I can see that everything is going on. We got a lot of stuff to do. What I was saying is I try and come here every Friday to try and help you answer your media ministry questions. I don't know everything, folks. I am quick to tell you that, but I want to hopefully help you as best as I can. And when I don't know something, I will quickly and easily tell you that I don't know it, but that's the beauty of this community. I don't need to know everything. We're stronger together than the individual, so I will point you to somebody here in the group that knows that stuff, and that's what the community's for. So if you're not a part of the Facebook group, folks, what are you doing? Make sure you're a part of the media ministry group where you're working with 3,300 media ministries from all over the world to help us share the message online. That's what it is. We don't talk about our denomination, whether you have service on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. It does not matter as long as we have the same mission. That's what it's all about, and we want to freely share our knowledge with each other. With that being said, folks, we need some teachers. We need some more teachers. We got a total of 9 teachers for our e-missionary conference. I would highly recommend, if you've never taught, that is how you learn more. You learn more by teaching other folks, and highly recommend that you join. It doesn't matter if you've never done it before, folks. There's a first time for everything. Highly recommend that you go ahead and register to be a teacher at the conference. And with that being said, let me go ahead and just drop this one for you real quick. That's it, folks. So y'all have spoken, and we're doing 2 days. So we're going to be actually doing July 13th, and we're going to be doing August 10th. So teachers, if you want to do it live twice, you are more than welcome. Or if you pick one of those days, if you do on July 13th, what we'll just do is just play that back for anybody else that comes on August 10th. What I honestly would prefer to do is have teachers on July 13th, and then teachers, if you're teaching on the 13th, you can actually go to a second round of teachers who are teaching live on August 10th, and you'll be able to be in their class. Don't matter whoever you're streaming. If you do your sessions on the 13th and you come in on the 10th, you can play back all of those other sessions on those days. So again, I really want to encourage you all, if you haven't taught, to try and be a part of this and to teach. All righty. So one thing is, if you go here to mediaministrymentor.com, and if you come over here and click here, I've been adding some more information on here as we've picked our days. And you said audio is low. Okay, well, I got my stuff maxed out. I'll just talk a little bit louder here. So if we come over here, we got our teachers in here. We got some people on the group that are actually teaching. We got Monty, we got Mr. Rob, we got Mike. Mike, I need a headshot from you. We got Dominic, we got Rosalind, we got Augustine, we got Francisco. And I always pronounce his name wrong, so I'm not even going to attempt to do that. Ordi Bodie, last name. Sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. My apologies. Justin Nava. We got him. We got Ramon on here, and we got some other people as well too. If you have not taught, this is a great opportunity, folks. Again, you don't have to be media folks. We also have, like Rosalind, she's actually teaching on the biblical importance of media. It's not just technical. Media is not just technical. We need to understand how to minister to people as well too, how to get our congregation involved. And yes, there will be technical stuff as well too. So I don't want to hide that, but really want to put that out there. We do have an early bird registration that you can do right now. If you go here and click on conference and you slide down, you can fill out your information. If you want to be a teacher, I will add you to the group to get all the assets and all this other stuff, like the graphic you see in the background. All that stuff. We'll do your lower thirds and stuff like that you can use and put on there and give you access to how we're going to be streaming to the website. Early bird registration is $75. When the early bird is over, it goes to $100. We're going to have access to all of this stuff 8 months before I upload everything to YouTube. So you'll have fresh access to all of that stuff, folks. All right. Excited about this. Again, we've been very, very much delayed with some stuff. We've had to get some stuff done, but thankfully we were able to do that. And I am also super duper excited that 7 days from now, folks, 7 days, we got our second book dropping. It's going to be releasing on Amazon, but if you want a signed copy, because a couple of y'all have asked for it, you would go to AJaytheCEO.com/mybook. And you can get the information there. I will be personally, leaving a little autograph in there and leaving you a message if you want to do that. So if you cut over here and we go here and you click on my book, you can come here and you can pre-order there. These are the chapters, the topics mainly, not chapters in there. And we have the paperback. I do have my first book on here as well too. And I'm actually selling that as a discount on here. If you buy it through here, if you buy it through Amazon, it is actually $15.99. We are going to have a Kindle version. We do have the paperback and hardcover. So if we come over here to the Amazons, we come over here. So it is listed here right now. And actually, the guy who wrote this book actually sent me a message that he had the same name. This was written in 2003. Coincidence, but I got a chance to talk with him. Great dude. But again, the Kindle one is available right now. It is for pre-order. Everything is releasing on the 17th. The paperback and hardcover versions are going to be here. Unfortunately, folks, if you buy through my website, I am only able to go through the U.S. Postal Service right now. I am working on that. If we have enough stuff, we will try and figure out all of that other good stuff. So I think that's enough of my blabbing. So let me go ahead. Oh, also, if some of y'all, because this book actually was supposed to have came out a while ago, if you pre-ordered the book, please email me. If you haven't communicated with me already, please email me so I can get your address. I know, Reverend Leroy, I just sent you a message. I have, actually, let me say the people's names right now. The people's addresses I do not have. I still need Anita Thompson, Bob Perlamini, Brenda Harrison, Charles Davis, Damon S. Martin. I think I got his. Robert Gorman. I think those were the last. No. I also need Arthur Dichari. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Bryant Loving. Actually, let me go to the right one. I'm reading the old form. And again, I don't mean to drag this out, folks. I just got, like I said, I have a lot of preliminary stuff I want to get out the way. So the people's addresses that I need are Anita Thompson, Arthur D. Chiara, Damon S. Martin, Doug Hoffer, James Payne, Justin Nava, Lester Buckley, Lyle Springer, Marvin Rasmussen, Rashid Williams, Reverend Leroy, I already sent you a message, and Robert Gorman. Those are the people that I need your addresses for because y'all paid for this book, and I want to get it to you and honor the fact that you did that. So, again, email me at questions@ajhomes.com. And also, if I don't get to your questions today, folks, know that you can email me at questions@ajhomes.com. Give me 48 to 72 hours to respond back to you. But if the email goes back and forth for more than 4 or 3 emails, I would highly recommend that you go ahead and just set up a consultation so I can have a dedicated time to just work with you and whatever to help you as best as I possibly can. All right. I think that's enough. All right. Let's go ahead and holler at some folks. We got Reverend Leroy. Hello, hello. Monty. Another teacher there. Hey, Monty. JD. Hello, hello. Josias. Hello, hello. TT. Hello. Lanny. How you doing? Mr. Clarence. How you doing, sir? Streets of Destiny. Hello, hello. Tammy. Hello. Lanny. Hello. And Pastor Brooks, hello, hello. Mr. Michael, hello. HEC Ministries, how you doing? Another teacher here, Rob Wilson, with the same picture that he has on the website. Awesome. Parker, hello. We got another teacher, Mike in Canada, is teaching on Bit Companion, more than just a friend, an ally. Very, very interesting topic. I was going to say my tooth looks kind of messed up. Pete, hello, hello. Bruce. So again, Bruce, you asked. So again, the dates are July 13th and August 10th. You got about 30 days in between. G. Albert, hello, hello. Aaron, hello. Ashley, morning, morning. And I got y'all, you're saying the sound. I got you. So we're picking up from that. And I was getting ready to say I was getting scared because I was like, the bar didn't go up. I was like, did I go muted again? I got you. Lady Deborah, hello. Cole Frankie, excuse me. Hello, hello. Brian Jones, how you doing, sir? Brian, I feel in my shana now that I think you could be teaching something, sir. James Day, hello. Michael Taylor, hello. I think I've gotten everybody new that's on here so far. Richard Thomas, hello, hello. Anthony, what's going on, man? Hey, I didn't see your registration, Anthony. Come on, man. I know you were going to teach something in the conference. Glenn, hello. Glenn is from Richmond. Sweet. All righty. So let me go. Please, folks, know that when you do a question, please put a Q in front. It just helps it jump out to me a lot easier. I'm going to go backwards a little bit just to answer a question Brian has on regarding the teaching opportunities for the conference. What is the expected duration of each class? Each class goes between 45 minutes to 2 hours. It depends on how long you want to talk, but typically It is only about 45 minutes and gives about a 15-minute gap in time to answer questions. If you don't want to do it live, you can record it and we will play it back. That's what we did last year. If you don't want to do that, I think Dominique, he recorded himself, but he was in the group so that he can talk to people live, but the presentation was pre-recorded. That is your choice. It's going to be like a little production studio. We have everything set up here. And let me bring this up here for half a second so I can actually show you. And let me hide everybody's address because y'all don't need to see that. So, like, for example, I'm going to cut over here so you can see how this would go. So this is like my setup for when I'm teaching. One of the classes I'm teaching is the anatomy of a church live stream, which is actually in the book. This is the not for resale. This is my proof. So we got a bunch of corrections in here. I've already done the other corrections, but it's about 191 pages. But anyway, in that book, I actually talk about the anatomy of a live stream. So my setup will be streaming in this. And then, again, it's going to loop forever because I'm using this right now. So if I cut over to live, I would have my stuff in here. We have your lower thirds that we're making here for your class that has your topic. Then we also have your lower third for just your name. Those are all the assets that you would get from our Google shared drive that I give you access to the teachers. And you would teach this way. Now, inside, let me show you the back end of the website. So everything, we're streaming everything through Vimeo. So again, I would prefer that you don't do any music that is not licensed. But if you do, you don't have to worry about getting hit because it is going to be on this side. But I would prefer you not do that because when we upload this stuff later on, it's going to make this kind of difficult. So once you buy your ticket and you get inside of the conference, you'll come in here. And then all your sessions are in here. And then there are 3 classrooms. The teachers, you're going to get your streaming key and your time for the given window and classroom that you're going to be in. And the reason why we have that gap in time so that you don't kick off somebody else who's going to be in that same classroom that you're coming in on. So when you come in here, there's a chat window that's going to open up. And the idea is that you're going to be logged into here. And you'll be able to talk back and forth with the people who are leaving comments, and you just live stream from here just like you would live stream from your church. It's the same setup. So whether you use Ecamm Live, OBS, vMix, go directly from the OC Go, the ATEM, whatever. If you can stream and connect to a RTMP with a streaming key, you can get there. All right, that's how it's going to work. We also going to have if you have any type of materials or anything, we're going to make another page for downloads and everything that's going to be available. So if you have materials, you have presentations, you got slides, anything that you want your students to have, that's where it would go. Also, let me cut back over here. And when you're done, when your stream is over, all of the stuff is going to drop in buckets based on how your stuff is organized. So you can always come back here and watch the stream if you miss something. That's how everything is going to be set up, all right? We're going to go through all of that information when we set up some stuff with the teachers. Let me see. So I think I answered that one, yeah. Can we use pre-recorded content graphics to help? Yes, sir. Yes, you can. You can do it any way you want to in that window of time. If you need longer, just say so, and we'll put that time because we're going to schedule out everything so people have enough time to connect to the stream, just like we do with pre-service. The idea is just how we do with our live streaming, our church services. We come in, we stream early, we get in with our 15-minute countdown or whatever, make sure you got a good connection and all that other stuff, give you enough time for the first teacher to get off, you to get on, you connect, go through all your technical stuff, make sure your stuff is working. Then your class is going to start at 5 minutes after the hour. So you'll have some time. Let's see. I am doing good. O'Neill, hello. Yeah, I think y'all are talking about that. Hola, ¿cómo estás? And I think I've blabbed enough. Let me go back and we're going to start answering some questions here. Reverend Leroy wants to know, will you be doing another video on Prism Live? Yes, I will. I'm thinking about actually teaching a class on it. It all depends. Again, I want this conference to not be me talking. I want this to be a platform for y'all. I would teach if I need to. But again, I would prefer not to. But what I would like to do is have a full day worth. The conference is going to start at 8 a.m. and end at 11 p.m. So the idea is that if you are in any time zone, it's not going to inconvenience you to join. You join when you're available, or if you really want to be live, you can jump in at that time when it's live. But I want to have a very vast group of teachers in different time zones that makes it comfortable for everybody else. You can pick what time that you want to do your stuff as well. The idea is once we have the schedule up, I'll try and fix something, put something in between to try and do some stuff. Last year, we had a lot of people do some behind-the-scenes stuff. So if you don't want to teach a class, but you just want to give a tour of how you got your stuff set up, that is very beneficial as well, too. You don't have to do lecture stuff the entire time. Just want to give you some options. The idea is for you to share with the community and other media ministries just like yourselves. JD, and I'm eyeballing to make sure my sound is good. What would you recommend to absorb vibrations for a Envato PTZ camera mounted on the wall? We have shaking on the floor due to trucks passing by. I've done this exactly with a Envato at Greater Faith, and what I ended up doing is I had a camera gimbal. I used a camera gimbal for a car. That's what I used in this setup, and granted, it was butt ugly, but it was able to do what it needed to do. So it was something like this. It wasn't this expensive, but mine was literally just this piece, and it had about 4 times the amount of mounts on there, springs that absorbed everything. And that plate has enough holes that you can actually use it. I mean, this could work. Again, that's expensive compared to what I paid for on mine. Mine was like literally just this end piece. Last time I looked it up, it didn't have, it wasn't in stock anymore. Let me see. Let me take you off here so I can look through my history, and I will show you exactly the one that I got, and then maybe it will be still in stock. All right, this is the one. This is the one that I used. And again, as you see, it's still not available. So it was literally, the camera was hooked up. Thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate it there. What I ended up doing is this sat in between, put the PTZ on this part, mounted this part to the arm that I had. And I also used washing machine absorbers. That could be, and I doubled it up. I used that to mount in between the bracket and the wall. Yeah, they were stabilizing pads. So you could get something like this. I had square ones that I could actually screw through and mounted it to the wall. So I just doubled it up. So mine was actually flat. It wasn't like this. It was more... trying to think. I don't see where they were, but it came in a pack of 12. And it was kind of something like this, but it was stable enough. I mean, it was hard enough that I could actually screw into the wall. So I put this on the mount, and then I had that absorption one at the end that absorbed the camera as well, too. So the same thing that they would have on a gimbal that you would have for a camera that's mounted on a car. So... alrighty. I think I got all of that. G. Albert wants to know, can I order your book and large mouse pad on one order? Do I have to separate it? I mean, the mouse pad you can get it through. Let me see. No, you can't, because all of the mouse pad and the shirts and stuff like that, That is done through a print on demand, so that's not done through me. The book is I'm actually ordering it, then I'm signing it, and then sending it off. So unfortunately, no, you can't do it in one fell swoop like that. Let's see. Let me jump over here. So that's the page with no audio. And I wish I had like an audio thing on this screen right here, and that would work better for me. Page 2. Alrighty. And I think you had you were saying the same thing. Do you have a stream meter that you that's what I don't know if vMix can put it on this screen, but that's what I'm intending to do, Mike. Since I'm doing my audio through my mixer, I'm still seeing audio on my ATEM. The idea is losing it in vMix for some odd reason. So I need to figure that out. Let's see. I see a couple of comments come through here, but then I see that they were retracted, so I'll wait. Back to G. Albert. For the past 2 Sundays, I was on vacation in South Carolina, and for the first time, I used the Blackmagic Camera app on my iPhone. Man, it's crisp and clear. Yes, it is. The only thing I hate about it, well, I'm waiting. They actually said it's going to come out on the Android finally. The only issue that I have on my iPhone is just the space. That's the problem that I have with there, and I don't know why it's just not as streamlined. And I'm actually looking to see if the Blackmagic Camera app is available yet, and it's not. Yeah, it's still not available app. It's supposed to come out on the Android soon, so I do like it a lot. That's page 2. We go to page 1. Rob, I'm trying to see. I mean, because the idea is I don't want to have you have to register just to be a teacher, but I have to think about that. I think if we do, it will be at a discounted price. Because again, all of this is going towards getting a space. So we'll have a physical space as well as an online one next year. So we'll talk about that when we have our teachers meeting. Mike, I see AR glasses, that perfect use case for a stream VU meter along with streaming metrics. I would possibly use that. Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. Now, Pastor Brooks, I see that yours have come back a couple of times. So, I mean, the comment still came through, even though it said it was retracted on YouTube, so I can actually see this. So let me know if this is pointless, but I'm going to go ahead and answer this anyway. We already have the Mac Mini Dual Display ATEM Mini Pro with multi-view Famako camera and controllers. I'm writing on a tablet and press the wrong button. Okay, I got you. And then the next one is, hey, AJ, we have a Mac Mini Dual Display ATEM Mini Pro, and I want to know how I can add cameras with the 2 PTZs and multi-view. How to add in the wireless controller, the Famako wireless controller with the 2 PTZs. Well, I mean, the PTZs, if you're going to use the ATEM, you're going to need to connect it most likely through a fiber optic HDMI cable or convert it to SDI and back, and it connects to the ATEM. That would solve that part. And then as long as the PTZs are on a closed network, you can have the joystick connected just like I have mine connected to my network, and it goes to all of my cameras. That could work the same way. Just need a little bit more detail to help you out with that if I'm missing something. All right, let's jump up here to O'Neill here. Why is my AVCam's PTZ camera flickering occasionally? First off, how do you have it connected? Is it through HDMI or SDI? And a lot of the times, the Famako is flickering because it's either the white balance is too high, the exposure is too high, and that's what that flickering is. That's the first thing. If those are fine, the flickering could be the connection between the video out. But let me know. And for example, let me log into mine to show you what that would be like. All right, so if I cut over here, this is my Famako. So what you would need to do is come in here to your images and see I have my exposure on auto. You might want to play with that. Personally, I don't really mess with that much. What's your anti-flicker? I have mine at 60 hertz because I am streaming at 60 frames a second. That helps a lot. And then your color white balance. But I think the main thing is probably going to be your autofocus. And your autofocus sense. I would change it to normal and play around with that. And then where do you want it to, what's the zone that you want it to pick on? So mine honestly should be center instead of front. So you might want to play around with that. But those are the two things that I've noticed when it's been like a flickering stuff. If you've gone through both of them, then like I said, it might be a cable thing. Aaron, have you learned how to set up key and fill using two outputs, either with a decklink card or HDMI? If you like, I can show you. Yes, actually, I have used that back in the day when I used the HyperDeck, originally the big one. Yeah, there's a setting that you can do that, and then it also depends on the program that you're doing. But I appreciate it. But honestly, if you got that, that could be something that you can maybe do a short of or something like that in the group or even with the conference as well, too. JHB, in a recent live stream, a parishioner attempted to, I'm glad you brought that up because I've been meaning to do a video about that. I've been so busy doing stuff this week. But if you didn't, well, let me finish your comment first. Attempted to shoot the pastor during the service. Luckily, the gun jammed. Do you continue live stream and cut away to slide, but record all the ISOs for evidence? Yes. I did a video a long time ago, and I was going to do a remake one because of that very same thing, and it's called contingency plans. When I talked about this, this is when Pastor Sales collapsed right after he finished preaching. And what are your contingency plans? And I'm going to do this in the video, but let's just talk about it real quick because everybody should. You need to, with the cameras that we got, most of the cameras that we're using, our PTZs, your phones, your DSLRs, whatever, are actually way better than whatever security cameras that you have. Again, I talk about the Unify Protect for a reason, so that it is a affordable camera system that you can install yourself, and it doesn't cost you anything. You can expand it. I've installed that at quite a few places, and yes, that's good. But what are contingency plans for the media? When we've had certain scenarios, like I'll go back to when Pastor Sales collapsed. The first thing I did, just like I just did with the Be Right Back, I have a Be Right Back scene that can go over. I also suggest always record your services. Even if you're not gonna, if you are uploading your live stream, record, because in this scenario, when that happened with Pastor Sales, I was recording everything that if I can't even remember what Sunday that happened, because I recorded everything, killed the live stream, uploaded everything, and I completely edited out that whole thing because I had the recording so that no one could ever do it, could ever play that back. Also, as gatekeepers for your media ministry, you are in control of what's going to go out. If you have something that goes out, like, for example, I'm a get after the church just for a little bit that did this. The fact that there was no contingency plans with your stream, that's why everybody was able to see the video and all this other stuff, because it was continued to live stream. You know how scary that would be for somebody to watch. Yes, you need to be able to record, use the cameras. Like we've had people, I was doing an install at one church, and the pastor came back and said, AJ, don't come out the media booth. And I didn't know what was going on. So I got to the camera, and a guy walked in to the church with a trench coat and a completely different complexion than everybody was there. And everybody was on high alert because a lot of stuff like that happened. So what I did is I moved the camera, zoomed in, got his face, got all this other stuff, and I'm recording this, and I'm backing it up and uploading it for contingency purposes like that. Everybody needs to have something. I do not recommend anybody trying to get their hands on somebody, but you got to do what you got to do. I'm not going to tell you that. I was going to say I wouldn't have done that. It all depends. Adrenaline rushing, you just don't know. But please, please, media, work with your security ministry and your ministry in general. This is not one of those things that you can play ignorance on. You play ignorance on not having some contingency plans. Guess what? You have graduated to the level of stupidity, of something is going to happen. I hate the fact that we have to put stuff like this in place right now, but we've seen crazy stuff like this happen at way too many places, that there needs to be some type of contingency plan to where if you have a security ministry, if you don't have one, you need to have one. And then have walkie-talkies, have one of those walkie-talkies or some type of communication given to people in the media. The media, if you have the ability, like at Antioch, that's on the second floor. At Gates of Faith, that's on the second floor. If you can, that door needs to be locked so that people just can't walk up in there. So God forbid something happens, y'all are isolated and you can get as much stuff as possible. You know, we're going to talk about that as well, but please, you need to have contingency plan. Actually, let's put it down. How many of y'all have a contingency plan for situations like that? Be honest. Because, again, we need to know, because this is just like ministries need to be live streaming, ministries need to have contingency plans for recording, for archiving, for backup purposes, for security purposes, all of that stuff, right? HEC Ministries. How do you send your live stream to your in-house monitors? Please direct me to any video. Well, it all depends on your setup. What are you using to live stream? Like right now, let's do camera 3. And let's cut over to here. So here's my setup. And let me actually turn this off so I can actually control this a little bit better. Come on, get out of here. Tracking, I want that off. All right. So like in my setup, as you can see, and I'm going to move this to the side here. So as you can see right now, this is the monitor that I was talking about that I'm looking at so that I can see what's going on. But what I have, that is actually outputted from my streaming computer that is right there. So in the software, vMix, OBS give you an option to be able to output stuff so that you can send it to a different monitor. OBS does that, vMix does that, I believe XSplit, I believe Wirecast, a bunch of them do the same thing. If you have an ATEM, you could do the same thing. That would be your HDMI out. So I just connect the HDMI out that would go to monitors. That's typically how I would do it. Or if you have something like a software-based one, I have an extra video out on that system that loops back to the monitor that's right in front of me, and that's what I see. That is how I have mine set up, and that's the same thing of how you would do that. So like if I cut back over here to OBS in doing this, and it's looping in forever. So let me kill this real quick. If you're in OBS, you would connect your computer has to have another output. If you do, and I have 4 outputs on mine, if I right click on here, I have full screen projection. I can pick whichever monitor that I want, and then that's what output. So like I'll pick this right now, and I'm gonna switch back to my camera. So now if I switch back to this shot, as you can see, that's what's outputted. That's coming from OBS. So whatever comes here goes here. So like if I switch over to the pre-live, see, that's what shows up here. That's how OBS does it. That's the same way vMix and all these other programs do the same thing. So, but again, I say that without knowing your setup, kind of need to know that to actually be very specific for you. Brandon B. I need a fan. All these lights are getting hot. What are your thoughts on the X32 versus the X-Air and the XR18? My church has been analog for the last 40 plus years, and I'm trying to pitch them on a digital direct audio input streaming setup. Honestly, let me tell you this. I am in talks with actually upgrading the sound system at Antioch, the church I used to be at, to an X32. The reason I go with the X32 is because it has more inputs. My monitor just flickered for a second. Let me make sure my audio is still there. Um, I would go through the X32 only because you have more inputs and you can connect it to stage boxes to give you more inputs if you really want to. The XR Air 18, I mean, it's okay, but you're limited on the initial inputs. You start from there. I think you're only going to have 12 inputs and 6 outputs. I believe that's what it is. So you're limited there compared to 32 inputs on the, well, if you have the compact, you're gonna X32 compact. You're gonna have 16 inputs and 8 outputs. That's just me. I like for growth. So what I'm doing with Antioch is going with the compact because they have a 48 channel mixer, but in the years I've been there, there's at least 12 channels, 12 to 16 channels that are not hooked up to anything and have never been used in 12 years because nothing is hooked up to it. So that's why I'm not getting that. Let me see. So I hope that helps. But be on the lookout for that. I'm just waiting for them to prove it, and I'll take you along with that in upgrading the old system with the new as well. Pastor Brooks, are you available today for a consultation? Typically, I don't do stuff on Fridays, but I think I was talking with you. This is something that you need to email me about. I do have to take my daughter to martial arts, so I have a small gap of time to do something today. It would have to be literally right after this live stream, and then I go to do the daddy thing around 4 o'clock. So I have between 1 and 3, but I would have to manually book something for that. I am thinking of starting a worship tech tour across churches here in Nigeria to educate people because most of what they see online are not totally applicable for our system of doing things here. So right now, my concern is how do I go about it considering the security of their equipment since I'll be putting it online and some churches has gotten burgled, which might make them not accept. Although I don't have a camera to start with except my iPhone versus Macs to go play around with. Honestly, start with what you got. I understand the concern that unfortunately we're at a point where, like, I've had a bunch of churches that I've done an install and they've asked me to take the video down because of that very concern. They don't want people in the area to know what I installed. I think it's a sad state of affairs. But when it comes to stuff like this, then you need to build for your environment. Meaning that I would go with a portable system, kind of like what I'm doing for the graduation that's coming up at the end of this month. I still have an ATEM, I still have a camera, but I have it in the setup to where this is something I set up and I break down and I take with me every single time. So it all depends. So if you're starting with your phone, and Reverend Leroy was talking about this, I would, if you have a laptop or something like that, I would invest in looking at that. And Mike, hold on, I got something for you too, Mike. So audio's still there. Mike, you talked about it, and I told you I was going to go ahead and get it. This is that other travel router that we talked about last week. I mean, if you want me to do a review on it, I will. But this is, I would say, this is what I'm taking with me on my mobile setup. So this is my router. I have a small little, it's not this one, but this is an old switch. So I would have this, I have internet coming into this. I can hook my phone up to this as a tether. I hook this up into this, so now I can have all my stuff plugged into this. Everything has a network. It has Wi-Fi, so my iPad can do whatever. In your setup, you would have something like this. This was like $20, not very expensive at all. But you can have this, and then using Prism Live on your computer, your phone can go into that, and then you can have access to do all the fancy stuff that we've been talking about. And then you put that in a book bag, and especially if you're already using your phone, then you're good to go. And you can add multiple phones too. That's what I would think to start with. Hopefully that helps. Craig saying, we can't go live. We got everything to go live. The computer said we can't go live. What program are you using that says you can't go live? And I'll circle back on that one. Aaron again, I can make a video on how to set up key and fill with an A10 and Pro. Yeah, that's the same way I've done it in there. You have to, it's a check off, but that, I mean, that's fine. Go ahead and do that. I would highly recommend you do that. We have 3 PTZs. When we try to access with IP address, 2 of them don't show. What could be the problem? Most likely all of them have the exact same IP address. If you can't access it, I would recommend that you get a program like Advanced IP Scanner. That is what I use. I got way too many windows open. That's what I use all the time to help find out where your camera is, or depending on the PTZ, you can actually get different programs that can scan for it. So like, for example, where did I put it at? Software Essentials. No, where did I put that at? There it goes. So like this one is from AVCans, but PTZ Optics makes ones too, and for the most part, they talk in the same chipset, so they should respond. So like if I go here to my network and I do a search, see, even though I only have one PTZ optics camera, that's that one, but this is a SMT AV, that's one that's showing up on here, and the 94, that's the Famaco, so the BZB gear, the 93, the one that's behind me, that's the one that's not showing up on here. But even if this talks on a different level, so if you download this, even if they have the same IP address, they should show on here, and then that's when you can manually come in here and change the IP address to something different. I would try that first. But what type of camera is it? And then probably point you to that to see about that. Rhonda, ask this in the group. Would like input from this audience. Can I have Zoom running on my laptop and OBS without an audio interface? Without the audio interface, I cannot mute myself. Have tried. No, you can. Yes, you can do both. So, but you can't mute your. I can do Zoom running on my laptop without an audio interface. That is correct. And without the audio finish, I cannot mute myself. Mute yourself in Zoom, because, I mean, you should be able to. The main thing in Zoom is you need to set what is being used. So you can mute your mic, but then you also need to be wary to make sure that you're not setting your mic to be capturing the sound of the computer as well, too. So, but yes, you can do that. And then a follow-up here. Combination of Zoom muted, unmuted, OBS monitor off, on with output. I don't need to be heard, but it would be nice. No, you should be able to do that. I mean, I've done that. When I did the Ash Wednesday service, I wasn't heard at all, but I was the one that was running everything with Zoom and OBS. So that is possible. And that was well before that I had the Rodecaster. So I didn't have a interface. I had my mic going directly into the computer, but that is possible. But then you're also saying running Zoom with window capture into OBS and streaming to Facebook and YouTube. Yeah, that is possible. That's exactly how I did that. So let me know, but that is possible. Rob, most churches think that they won't happen to their church. That's why they don't have a plan. And don't have a plan, then plan to fail. That is so true. Richard wants to know, what is your opinion on the Tongveo? I think that's the Tenveo PTZs. Honestly, I don't think they're bad, but I'll be honest. There's one that Monty did a review on, and I got the same one. You didn't see the review from mine because it didn't respond right. It would glitch out. It wouldn't get an IP address. It wouldn't switch from 4K to 1080p. It just kept throwing junk the entire time. And as much as I tried to reach out to the company to let them know that I had an issue, I never got a response. And I will not review any type of camera. I'm not going to blast the camera without giving them a chance to fix it. because maybe I just got a bad one. Because I mean, that is how electronics are. All of them are not perfect. But they didn't respond, and I'm not gonna advertise something that's not working well for me. I'm not gonna tell y'all to get something that doesn't work. That's horrible. If anybody sent me an email recently, I'm opening my email now. I typically don't open my email to check here, but let me see. Give me a half a second, and I will verify all this fun stuff. I see a bunch of y'all just purchased the book, and thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. Now, one thing I'm just going to be honest. Like I told you, I have in the last chapter where I said, hey, maybe I could have taken more time, fixed some stuff. I understand that. But I want y'all to be honest with me and let me know if there's some things that need to be fixed grammatically and all this other stuff. And then also when you finish going through the book, which I don't recommend you read this book from beginning to end. It goes over topics. But so like, for example, so inside of here, the foundation, establishing the standard, mission statement, building a media ministry team, establishing a digital footprint, developing a website, internet service suited for ministries, upgrading your congregation, essential software every ministry needs, effectively communicating to your congregation, ministry SOP, standard operating procedures, effectively using social media and stop spamming, establishing online giving, picking a live streaming system, live streaming from your church building, preaching and teaching without an audience, leveraging AI in your media ministry, creating online content other than a church service, creating generational specific content, succession planning. Those are the topics that are in here. The idea is you find one of these topics and then you make a study of those things and put them into practice. And once you make them a habit, then you move over to the next thing because they all build on top of each other. But I say all that to say, when you've gone through it, please, I'm not paying for no reviews or nothing like that. I want you to be honest. Leave a review on it on Amazon, and I take note of that, and I make some changes and improve all that other stuff as well. So thank you so much. And Brother Art, thank you so much. I got your address. And Reverend Leroy, I got your address. I will update those shortly. See, this is the beauty of the community right here. Any interest in teaming up on a bit-focused companion session? That is a tool I've wanted to investigate in depth for a while now. I have a basic. See, I love stuff like that. So love for y'all to work here as well. Mike, hello from Indonesia. It's 10 p.m. right here. Awesome. Thank you for stopping by. How can I get that background that you have? That is actually on the website. AJaytheCEO.com, completely free. That is also the same one that we print out and make into a desk desk layout. Actually, it's right there under all of that. And if you see that over to the left, that's actually a disassembled Rodecaster 2 that somebody gave me that wasn't working. It doesn't get power, but it's there. So if you come over here to merch, and, well, actually, I'm sorry. You wanted to straight wallpaper. So that's under digital, excuse me. And then you go to wallpaper, and it is right there. For a whopping 0.00, you can get it there. So that's where you can get that from. Go back to David here. Okay, thank you. So do you seek the consent of the churches before you post the video of their church online? And how do you handle the case where they want you to take the video down? I mean, as long as they're not rude, I'll take it down. But most people now, by the time that they get me, they find me because of YouTube, because of the other videos that I've done. So they kind of know that this is the thing. But I have had people to say, hey, I don't want this to be done. I don't want this to be done. Or can you take this down? I mean, as long as they're, I come in knowing that this is what I do. But if they have an issue, as long as they say so, I take it down. Or if I have churches that we've had some issues in the past, I take their videos down. So if you've ever saw videos with me and then all of a sudden you can't find them, that's probably one of the reasons. All right, so let me clarify. The page comes up. I can see the settings, but no picture. Now, when you're saying a picture, are you pulling the video over RTSP, like over your network? Is that how it is? Let me know. And let me see. I got a couple of questions here, so I want to follow up so I know. All right, so this is back to where it says your computer is saying that you can't go live. You said you're using Easy Worship and OBS Studio. Now, OBS is telling you that you can't go live. What's the exact error that it says? Because it should say a little bit more than that, so we can isolate where that is. We can find out what that problem is. Reverend Leroy, can Zoom work through the A10 Mini Pro? Yes, it can. It will work the exact same way of, like, if I brought somebody into Zoom right now, and I would just put them on a different screen so that they can see. So like right now, I mean, I do this as a super source, but if I cut over to and drag my Zoom over here onto screen number 3, that's what everybody would see. That's how I would do it. So like, for example, let me actually do it real quick. So I'm going to start a meeting here, and I'm going to connect on my phone. And I want to join this meeting. Sorry, I'm just typing this in. Oh, that's the meeting code. I'm looking at the wrong number. Now making sure my audio is still working. Y'all can still hear me. All right, so for example, I just joined. All right, so I'm a co-host. I'm going to mute this so it doesn't come back, but I'm going to bring this video up. So, for example, if I cut over here, see, this is what you're seeing if I brought somebody in Zoom. But what you would do, and this is what I did, is first I would want this to, where's my Zoom? So first, I want to make sure I'm using dual monitors. So that's going to give me a second screen. And then I'm going to pin me. So now this is pinned. So this is all you're going to see of who's talking. So now this is just an input that I would have that would come through here. So if I unmuted me talking, and I need to move this here. So if I come, so now I'm talking through here. So you're hearing me talk through Zoom. So this would be the same thing if somebody was a host and you brought them through the ATEM. My Zoom is on input number 3 on the ATEM, and this is what you're able to hear. But then I can easily go back to somebody live and see, now we're doing this. But you were hearing my audio coming through this. So yes, it does work. To bringing it in, you would just bring in your computer into one of the inputs, bring the audio into the ATEM directly, or bring it into your audio interface, which is what I was doing. That's how you heard me, and that should work. Excuse me. Ooh, I was getting ready to burp and sneeze and cough all at the same time, so my apologies. Samuel, which strategy can I use to make our praise and worship team to follow a list of songs in order to make it easier for me to project the lyrics? The strategy would be the same thing that I do. Now, I'm gonna tell you this at the same time. So I am not going back. I'm saying that now for the people who know. I'm not going back to Antioch, but I am playing for the young adults on 5th Sunday of next month. So I say that to say that you need to set up a standard. So for me, like I'm updating their software right now. So what I've done is these are the songs that I'm going to teach. So for me, when I was running the media ministry, I told them if you ever wanted slides to be up there, it needs to be, to me, close of business on Wednesday so that we have enough time to upload it. Now, because I still have access, I mean, I built the computers. I'm putting all the music that I am teaching 5th Sunday of next month already in the system. So I know it sounds like being a jerk, but you need to set a standard. So the strategy for me is I would recommend is you have a cutoff date that you need to have this stuff at this time. If it's not done, it's not getting displayed. That's just it. Again, you wouldn't ask your pastor to just preach a sermon and he's got 5 minutes, he or she got 5 minutes to prepare. No, you need to let people know. So for me, like I come in here and I already made choir rehearsals. So I put my stuff in here and this is what I am teaching the choir. So all of this stuff is already in the system and all that other good stuff. Now, I've done that, but this is the same thing I would do if the choir wants to do a song. They should know the music they should know it by Wednesday because they normally, at least at Antioch, they have choir rehearsal on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if it's Tuesday, you already know what you're teaching. If something changes, you can work on that, but that's me. That's the same way. So I abide by the same stuff. I upload all the music that I'm doing 2 months in advance. But that's how I would think because you can't, we know the stuff is going to be random. We already know that. But the things that you can prepare, if they already know the music they're going to do, then just ask them to do it. If they don't do it, then you don't do it. I mean, that's as simple as possible for me. Rhonda, how do church organizations hold conferences at venues like hotels have solid internet connections? Wi-Fi is not ideal. Are they using hardwired connections? When I did I've ran a conference for the Notary of North Carolina last year, actually. And they only had Wi-Fi, but I was able to work with the hotel and they have hardwired internet. So I went in the back, they gave me permission. I went in the back in their networking closet, which was a mess, fixed it. And then I actually made one of the jacks that's in the conference room was dead. I tagged it, found it, and then gave a hardline connection. That's what I use. But most conferences, they offer Wi-Fi, or if you ask, as long as you're talking to somebody that's technical, they have a rack somewhere because all of that stuff powers their Wi-Fi. Ask for a hardline connection. That's what I would do. And I've seen that done before. And Tammy, did I miss your question? And I'm sorry. I see you asked it again. I thought I saw it. What causes a dropout signal in the output of an ATEM SDI ISO? I'm using SDI to HDMI converter. Output 3 is the culprit. It happens about every 10 to 15 seconds. Either the cable is too long, the connections on the other end need to be re-terminated and they're loose. There's a power fluctuation in your SDI to HDMI converter, or there's a bad cable on the other end. Then last resort is the jack on the ATEM is the problem. I would say the easiest way, connect it to a different port on the ATEM and see does it still do it. Then you know it's not the port. That's the problem. It's something in between the line going to the converter. And I've seen the converter, if you don't have a right 5 volt or higher power supply, it will cause fluctuations. I would try those. Let's see. We have one of the ATEM outputs going to the monitors inside the sanctuary showing slides for the media player. How do I change transition on the media player? How do I change showing slides from media player? How do I change the transition? Meaning that you don't want it to just abruptly cut? Is that what you're saying? Let me know, and then we'll go to that. O'Neill, any recommendation on website hosting companies currently using iPage but considering making a change? I used to do Bluehost, but then when they made this corporate move to where their servers got hacked, and instead of fixing it, they just started charging an additional $300 to have stuff, I cut from them. I personally am using Squarespace. I don't like it that much, but I like it that it's all encompassed and I don't have the time to actually be the web designer like I used to be. I need something that I can just drag and drop. That's for me. I still have a link to Bluehost if you want to use them. WordPress is very flexible. That's what maybe 80% of websites are using, but that also makes it very vulnerable to attacks. And why is that screen blanking out on me again? I don't know if my cable is loose or something, but I personally have moved to Squarespace. That's me. So those are your two options. I mean, you could do Wix and stuff like that. I think Wix is just limited on their templates compared to Squarespace, but then WordPress has way more than that. And outside of WordPress, if you go back to straight HTML, that's going to be a headache. But I'm just letting you know that's what I use. How can I do projection on my Mac El Capitan, which doesn't have any output ports, but only 4 USB ports and an Ethernet? What you would need to do is get a compatible USB to display output that works with the Mac and see if that works. Like one of these USB hubs or something like that. That's the best way. If you don't have that, then you're going to have to you might have to use NDI or something like that and send NDI out and have another computer plugged into the display that can read NDI, something like that. How I did a long time ago at Antioch when we were sending stuff to the multi-purpose room. I would say check that video out and see how that would work. Mike, would that travel router do VLAN with DHCP? Yes, it will. Back to David. How do you set up OBS to go live on multiple platforms? You would need to use the RTMP multi-RTMP plugin. I have a video that talks about that. As long as your computer is fast enough, that should work. So like, for example, go out here, wait for OBS to open back up. So in here, this is the multiple output RTMP plugin that I can connect. And this is what I was using to connect to all 3 classrooms. Classroom 1 is under here. Classroom 2 and 3 is here. So like, for example, I'll actually do it now so you can actually see how all this stuff works. So let me open up all 3 of these windows at the same time. Get out of here. I don't want to take a survey. Classroom number 2. And then classroom number 3. So I'm just trying to get it prepped so I can show all these windows at the same time and not show the streaming key at the same time. All right, so we're going to be streaming from there. So I'm going to start streaming, and it starts on these 2. So now if I come over to here, it's 1, 2. So that's live. So all 3 of these are live right now. And it stops when I click on a different page, but they're all live right now, which is being streamed from here. So that's handling all of these right now. So like if I switch over to a different scene, and you'll see me, and then this should show in a second. And again, this is all through the different scene. So see, there we right there, live right there, live right there, live right there. So those are the 3 classrooms all being done through here. So that's using that plugin. And again, I am streaming at 10,000 kilobits per second, not even using 1% of the CPU because my computer can handle sending all of those. So that plugin, if you look on the RTMP stream, let me look it up because I don't remember it off the top of my head. So if we cut back over here, yeah, and there it goes. How to stream to multiple destinations for free with OBS. This is the video that shows you how to get that all set up. I will put that in the description for you. And where's my window? There it is, so I can see the comments that you got for me. Philip Paul, hello, hello. I got iPhone and Android. I got both. MGD Doc, if it is possible, can you explain what an audio interface is? Which one do you use? An audio interface, and what camera can I use? Audio interface is just, it's a device that will take RCA, quarter inch, or XLR typical outputs from a mixer and converts it over into something that your computer could do. So like USB. So this is my audio interface. This is the Rode Rodecaster 2 that I'm using if it gets into the focus, there you go. That's what I use, but it outputs USB. That's how it comes into my computer. But it also has analog output that connects to my ATEM. That's how I have it connected. That's all it really is. It just shows up so that your computer sees your audio as a USB microphone. So say you have an older mixer. So I can't bring it out here. But the old mixer that I have in here, and it's way too big for me to grab, I would connect that. And since it has no digital interface, the analog goes into the audio interface. The interface converts it into USB out so that it comes into your computer. That's pretty much what that would be. And there's a bunch of them. You can get audio interfaces as low as like $20. Let me see, because I'll show you a couple of them that I have used. So here's a bunch of them here. I've used the Focusrite. This used to be my go-to for a long, long time. The M Audio, wow, they moved that up in price. I've used that one before. This Behringer one, I've used that one before. This is the Pile one. Is the most recent one that I used for a church. No, not that. That's not it. That's a direct box. But I've used this one, the M Audio. This is a one-channel one here that I've used. That was actually for Runnymede ministry, and actually it showed right there, different variation. Yeah, the one mic input. This is the one that I've used for there. So we would plug in an output from the mixer into that XLR input, and then does it show the back? And then on the back, it comes out USB, and that's what I plug into the computer. And then on the computer, it just shows up as USB audio. So I can use vMix, any program on the computer that sees it that way. Fred Lee Photography, like the rhyme. Greetings, Dr. AJ. You did a stream some weeks back where your vMix PC crashed, but the internet didn't end. How did you do that? Yeah, what I had is my Anchor battery. Everything was plugged into that. So, but no, you said when it crashed. So the way I have YouTube set up, you have it on Facebook and a bunch of other ones. It says that once the stream ends, to end the live stream. I don't have that on because if your internet goes out, you don't want your live stream to end. So what ended up happening, the computer crashed. All I did was take the streaming key and put it on my ATEM, and then was able to pick back up because your platform is just looking for a stream. And if you don't have it saying end when you lose a connection, it's just going to wait for about, I think, 5 minutes for another connection. And I just picked right back up with the ATEM, and that's how I was able to do that. So a bunch of y'all, thank you. Damien, what's going on? I haven't seen you in a minute. Good to see you. I've been super happy with SiteGround since I switched from Bluehost. Haven't been hacked since switching with 5+. Thank you for that. I might need to look into that because I really loved Bluehost pricing, and until that happened, had a problem. I might go back to that, but again, it's mainly I just don't have the time. So drag and drop works for me, but I will look into that. You said SiteGround. Let's see. John, ATEM Mini Pro or OC Go stream, which is best for you or best recommended for live stream switcher? Reliability, the ATEM Mini Pro has worked best for me for the fact that the OC Go stream has more features built into it, as in streaming to multiple platforms. You have 2 outputs for your multi-view and for video out. The OC Go stream is the better choice. Granted, I have not done, the OC Go stream is the one that I had with the Anchor battery to stream for, 17 hours straight without a problem. So in that type of scenario, if you want to have all those features, the OC Go stream works great. So a second one for SiteGround. Thank you for that. So again, I'm gonna look at them and see what they costing. As low as $2.99 a month. Great day. Okay, I'm liking them's prices. Maybe I can go back to my fancy website that I had before. We'll see. I'm kind of looking at unloading a lot of stuff so that I don't have a lot of technical stuff. There's so much more that I want to do with my business, but it's only one of me. And I can't devote all my time to doing tech support for myself. Yes, on the ATEM, the slides cut abruptly. What I would probably have to do is you can do a macro to change those out that could slide into that. So, like, for example, if I bring mine up right now, and let's cut over here. So the idea is if I go to, like, these are the images I have. So I have the book up here. So I'll go between the two. And now if you're using the ATEM Mini Pro, you only have one slide. So the idea is we would have to do something to make a cut. So like if I go here and just play this right now, see that's that. And then if I just switch over to the next one, it's just an abrupt cut. And the idea is how do we switch to that without there being an abrupt cut? I think we would have to do something with a macro. That's what I'm thinking. I need to play around with that. Especially I need to know if you have the ATEM Mini Pro. Because the easiest thing, if you had multiple ones, like with this one with the ATEM Mini Extreme, I would just fade in between the two. So like if I cut over here and then load up the media player with the second one, see, I can just do a transition that way. But I think you said that you only have the ATEM Mini Pro. I'm gonna need to do some research on that one to figure that out. I think that is something you have to do in the macro and really dial that in to make one that will work. But I'll let you know. Rob saying GoDaddy. I think I've used them before too. No, I have used them before. And I think they do give you options on using different type of platforms from your website. So that could work as well too. David wants to know, just remember, did you find the culprit that used that $1,200 sub as a workbench and then talk some sense to them? No, I have not been up there. Next week, TCF is doing its dedication service on the 25th. So all of the work for them needs to be done next week. So I got to work on the leveling projectors, do the last cameras, start setting up all the audio equipment, start setting up the speakers, doing training and all that stuff because their service is on that Saturday. I doubt anybody's going to admit to what they're doing. So I got some pledge that we're going to have to do and clean up everything. We're going to know if it's damaged once we get everything hooked up to see if it works or not. So, G. Albert, you have already covered this. Is there a way to capture, record all of the videos on a multi-view? If you have the ISO, it will record it, but you're saying, do you want to record the actual multi-view? Is that what you're saying? Let me know. And then, because if that's the case, you probably have to hook it up to something else. I think the OC Go can record that. You would have to set the ATEM to do something to do that. Shane and Hannah, what is going on? Shalom from South Africa. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, Brian, you said what I was going to say. Put a splitter on the multi-view and reroute it so I can record that as well, too. Glenn wants to know, what are the best specs for streaming? Still, to this day, nothing has changed yet. I would say a 6-core processor, at least 3.5 gigahertz or higher. Memory is not that important, but memory is cheap. I would go with 16 gigabits of memory. Get a 3D graphics card as best as possible. I like the Ryzen 5 5600G because that chip is the processor with 6 cores and higher. And it has the GPU built in, and that's more than fast enough for 4K streaming. That's what you really need, just those basics. Reverend Mark Neal Sr., what would I need to send What would I need to send piano audio to my mixer without the white noise in the background? The white noise, you would probably, now what type of piano? Is it a grand? Is it a stand-up? Is it an electronic? If it's a grand or a upright piano, the idea is to put an instrument mic near the harps inside of it, and then it needs to be dialed in with your mixer to get rid of the white noise. That white noise is most likely RF sound from electronics, or the gain is way too high. It just needs to be dialed in. That's what I would think. But let me know, and we can do a little bit more on that. Steven, you're making me feel guilty with the question that you're getting ready to ask. Thoughts on the OBS Bot Tail Air 4K? I have 4 running both HDMI and NDI into the YOLO Box Ultra. So far, it seems to be working fine. Great to be able to do ISO recording in that. I have been trying to edit this video so much, and then I've had all these other projects that I do. So I have this. This was actually before it was released, and I had an issue with it, and they finally sent me the they sent me the update for the firmware, and I got it working. I have the video all recorded. I just haven't had enough time to just sit down and just finish editing the video, and this is going to be after the fact and how I would use it in church. But I do think it's great. Now, how far away are you using those cameras? My recommendation that I used in that maybe would be for a baptismal, or this would be one that, like this is probably going to be the one that I give my pastor to up his game in his office so that he can move around and stuff like that. I don't think those would be good for like a big sanctuary because the zoom is not that great. But I do like just everything you said. That's what I like it as well, too. Sporty43607 8675309. I hope I don't get in trouble for saying that. But anyway, I have a Roland V1HD switcher. I've used that before. How can I get my computer streaming software to recognize it as a virtual camera to allow switching and streaming? You should, connecting to it over USB, I would make sure that you have the drivers for that, and it should work, because that's how I had that set up with another church a while ago based out of San Francisco. That's how it connected. So if we cut over here, this is the V1HD, and typically we would come in here for our drivers, because it has the USB out there. So the V1 HD switcher, whenever it wants to open. So you need to have the Windows software here so it can actually recognize that as a USB device. And that's mainly all you need. I would make sure that's connected, because once you connect it, then you should be able to see it as universal video and audio coming in. That's how we did it before. So if you have that and it's not working, then it might need to be something else that we need to look into. O'Neill, how do I show streaming content from streaming PC to front of house projector screen running on a laptop? Do I have to run a long cable from the projector to the ATEM Mini Extreme at the streaming desk? Typically, yes. That's what you would need to do. If there's no other way. I mean, if that's the ATEM Mini Extreme, that's how I've set this up. The same way like a TCF, they're using the SDI version. I have the SDI running out into the projector. Yeah, that would have to be the same way that you do it. Let's see. We got some people going back and forth, which is always good. Back to, you said, what is the link to get back to the book? That would be, what button did I have it set to? Oh, I don't have it there. I think I have it on my player there. So, yeah, that's media number 2. The link there is going to be on AJaytheCEO.com/my-book, or you just go to AJaytheCEO.com, and it is in the, click on that link, and that will get you there. So if we go over here to AJaytheCEO.com, yeah, we just click on my book right there, and boom, there you go. Like I said, if it's into, I can only send US right now through this way. So if you want it to be signed, you would do this way. I don't think it will let you pick another country if it's there. If you're doing it from any other country, it is available for all the other supported countries on Amazon on the 17th. You would get it from there. But if you wanted me to sign it here, this is where you would go through. And I'm trying to figure out a way to have other countries show up. Most likely I got to do it through UPS, which I think the shipping is a little bit higher. But I'm trying to find a way to do it on the website to where it's dynamic. So if you put it in a different country, it will show. So it's paid that way. Because, again, the shipping is always the hardest part with that. I already got a whole bunch of envelopes and everything over here to do the labels and everything like that. Through stamps.com for me to do everything through the continental United States. So you say, we have the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO, 2 media players. I'll try going in between them, but let us know if you find a transition. Yeah, I think switching it dynamically that way through one media player, I don't think natively it will do a transition onto itself, because it's showing itself, so it can't fade when it's looking at itself. But I think switching between the two, like media player 1 and 2, that's the easiest way to do it. But then you could still set up a macro to say, macro, load this image into media player 1, let it display for this amount of time, load the other image into media player 2, then it flips them, and then switches, after it switches it to media player 2, cut the image over to media player 1, then switch it back. There's a macro that I know off the top of my head that could do that. Back to Reverend Mark Neal. It's electric. Yeah, if you're going to do that, then on the back, depending on the out, you should have an output under that electric piano. Let it go into a direct box that I had on here. Let me actually cut over here, because this is exactly how I had this set up. So what I had, these are not those. This is the one that I had at Galilee. So we would come out from the keyboard, kind of like how my keyboard is MO6 that I have upstairs, I would have the 1/4 inch come out into the input, and then on the back, this is a dual one, so it was 2 keyboards. So we had one for each keyboard going here, and then XLR out into the mixer. That's how I had this one working. You could get the one-off one, the smaller one here, and it's just the same thing. It's just for one instrument. That's how I would do that. So on the keyboard, don't do headphone out. It should have a line out that will go into this, and then XLR out on the back. This is kind of affects as ground, that this gets rid of the humming as well too, based on what you mentioned. That would come out into here. You can set this knob to help with that ground. It actually has, some of these have a hum eliminator built into it as well. Yeah, so this one has a hum eliminator built into it as well. So that should get rid of the electric noise, and then the XLR out goes into your mixer. So again, this is regular price is $20, but this is $13. This will be great for that, and I've used this one multiple times recently. I will put this in the description for you as well too. Let's see. Back to Samuel. I made a church intro using UDO and planning to use it Sunday. Will it have any issues with copyright? No, because it was made on the fly. No one owns it because it was made right there on the spot. So you should be good. Let me know if you have any issues, because, like, for example, I don't know if I can show this or not. I'm going to go to the back end of what I did, and no one should have claimed any of the stuff that I did. So I'm going to show you a sneak peek behind the scenes here. So, like, these are the 2 that I did, and no one should claim that because no one owns it, you know, so. And nobody claimed this one either, which I'm really surprised this didn't have that many views on this one. When I talk about the same stuff, other people, they have a lot, so I don't know. But you should be good. All righty. One last question. What screws do you buy to fasten PTZs to brackets? Right now, it's just sitting on top, but not. I actually bought someone's. Let me see. PTZ screws. So this is actually not the one that I got. Where is it at? It's just a quarter 20 thread is what you're looking for. So these are the ones that I've ordered before, and it actually makes it a toolless screw on. So these are the ones that I've actually used before, and they should fit. And again, it's a quarter 20 thread that will work on it. It's a typical tripod one. That's the same ones that work on the bottom. So these are the ones that I got that work. I will put a link there for those. So that's PTZ screws. AJaytheCEO Ministries. Is there any visual digital mixer to connect with a mic and sound card for better singing voice mixing on OBS? Visual digital mixer. I think the plugin that Mike is talking about before he suggested for OBS, that would help for better singing voice. Are you looking for something that actually would do kind of auto-tune the voice as well? Is that what you're meaning when you're saying for better singing voice? Let me know. Lanny, I must have skipped your question because I remember reading. I don't recall saying it. You want to know, did I do a video on completely resetting OBS? No, I have not, but I can tell you exactly what it is. So the main thing is, once you completely delete OBS and uninstall it, let me close all these other programs out. What you need to do is this. Once you've done that, there's 2 things. You can go to the run command here, and you can do %app data %. That would jump in here, and this gives you the application settings, and you can find OBS Studio in here, all of these, and you completely wipe out all of these completely. And then you also have, once you do that, you would come back into wherever it was installed. So like OBS Studio here, well, that's the plugins ones. I would delete that. I think that's going to be gone. But then program files, you're looking for the mainly where your stuff is. So one of these under the studio, it's your profiles. You want to get rid of both of them. But I think under application app data, this is where that's going to be stored, your profiles. Once you wipe that out, that should be completely gets rid of everything under here. Yeah, profiler data. Once this is gone, I believe that gets rid of everything. So that's what? How many of those are in here? That's 11. So let's see. I'm going to verify under the profiles. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I think that's it, where you would need to get rid of those. And that would wipe out everything. Alrighty. Let me see. Rhonda saying the Power Direct box is very inexpensive. What is the reason to buy another brand such as Radical Passive that the code quiet? Honestly, I used to buy the most expensive one, and I tried those cheaper ones, and I had them here personally, and they work perfectly fine. And I've had them installed in quite a few churches, to where I actually had the more expensive one, and then I bought the cheaper one, and I just tried it, and they didn't have any issues. So I started going with the lower price ones, and they've worked perfectly fine. So I don't really know. I think it's the same way. Like you get the Decimator HDMI to SDI or vice versa converters. They're like $300 and some, but then I use the Blackmagic ones that are like 70. And some people swear by the Decimators, but I've been using the Blackmagic ones for 70 for years and have not had any issues with them at all. So I'm not paying $300 or charging a client $350 for a converter when a $75 one works fine. Now, there are other bootleg ones on Amazon that try to color themselves the exact same way as the Blackmagics. Those are trash. And the reason I know is because I've used them and I've gone through them. See, like these, they try to color it, use the same font to make it look like the Blackmagic ones. Like this one is bad because they use the same color as them. And some of these other ones, like this, the same color, same metal, it makes it look like these are trash. And because I've personally used them, and that's what's made me always go with the Blackmagic ones over these other ones. So like again, these are the ones that I would use. This is actually marked up, but if you go like for B&H Photo, these are like $59, and then they go up to $79. But like, let me actually go there. B&H Photo. And we'll do the SDI to HDMI converter. So see, these are, with the power supply, $69, $65, bidirectional $69, but without it, it's $59. So now, if we go to the Decimators, yeah, the Decimator, that's a 12G one, that's $500. But let me go to all of the ones that they have. So that's the multi-view. This is the HDMI to SDI bidirectional one, $350. I don't understand the rationale of why that one costs this much. Even this bidirectional one is $100. So that's a little bit more reasonable, but it's still like $30 more than the Blackmagic one. So again, I'm not sure why this one costs that much. I've had people to swear by these. Again, I've been using the Blackmagic ones for at least over 7 years, and I've not had any problems. That's the reason why I use those. But just noticing the time, folks, I think we're doing, why is that monitor going in and out on me? It just flickered here again. But anyway, folks, while we do a little pause real quick, again, I want to really highly recommend we need more teachers for this conference to be successful. We got 2 days. Again, it's the July 13th and August 10th. But folks, you are smarter than you think you are, and you have some wisdom that it can help out ministries all over the world. That's why I highly recommend that you go ahead and consider signing up to be one of the teachers at our 2024 eMissionary Conference. We are working for this to be an annual thing. Thankfully, hopefully, time has slowed down so that we can actually do this more. And again, next year, we're always going to have it online, but we want to have something where we do it in person. We're obviously going to start here on the East Coast, probably Virginia, because it's closest for me to get to right now, but with the intention of going to different time zones. So it's not always going to be on the East Coast. We want to make it a big to do, to where this is something big, to where if you're able to, you come in and we would have this stuff in person with vendors and all this other stuff. That's the vision with that. But I highly recommend you go to mediaministrymentor.com, go to conference, and then register at the bottom if you want to become a teacher. If not, again, early bird registration is $75 for right now to get into that. Really want y'all to be a part of it. A lot of people learned a lot from when we did this a while ago, and we want to, again, do this annually. Really recommend y'all get there as well. And like I've already brought it up a couple of times, just thankful for all of y'all with the patience, and that's the wrong picture. The patience for everybody here. Again, the book is releasing on Amazon on the 17th, next Friday. So we're going to be doing our live stream like we normally do, but hopefully I had ordered like 50 copies, so I can have them on hand, but it's taking them a while to print them for whatever reason. I keep going to the wrong picture. So I'll have them in hand. Again, this is the paperback. I am waiting for the hardcover to have here as well, too. Again, this is my proof for me to verify. That's what I was going through and making corrections inside of here and all this other fun stuff. And we got some AI-generated images on here for some of the stuff. But really excited about and just thankful that this book is finally done. And these are the people that I talked about that pre-ordered here for so long ago. Got them about 2.5 pages worth. Again, if you're in the continent of the United States, I'm going to try and work on setting up some type of thing so I can do some international. I'll do a community post for that. But again, I want to give a big thank you to all of my supporters on Patreon and YouTube. Some of them have been supporting me for so many years, and I really appreciate what they've done to help me out. Again, this doesn't help pay for the car. It helps this ministry to buy the equipment and all this other stuff, pay for the giveaways that we do. That's what they do. And again, if you like what we do, I would appreciate you go ahead and click down below. You can hit join here at the bottom of this video, or go to patreon.com/AJaytheCEO. And whichever way you pick, folks, you are helping us train media ministries all over the world. And again, big thank you for your support. I think that's about it, folks. So if no one's ever told you, thank you for what you are doing. Again, before I even go into that, my apologies. Like I said, I've been busy. I haven't had a chance to do media boosts. I have a bunch of them that I need to drop. Some hard-hitting ones that I want to talk about as well, too. And again, I'm transparent when I talk about them, because I talk about a lot of the stuff that I personally go through, because I'm in media just like y'all. And just a lot of stuff has been interesting, but just want to give a big thank you for what you're doing. A lot of the stuff that we do is thankless, and I don't want you to feel that the only reason why people care about you is because of the talents and abilities that you got. I care about you as a person. And it doesn't matter that if you're the greatest video editor, best camera, drone pilot, or whatever. It doesn't matter. You matter. You matter over your skills. That's great what you're able to do, but I'm appreciative of you, the individual. And I think that a lot more ministries need to be aware of that, it's hard when you put in your blood, sweat, and tears, your money into this stuff, and people don't give two craps about what you do. They're more concerned that you're absent from your responsibilities and not absent as the person. make sure if you're a leader in your media, you call your people in your media team, not to ask them where they're at, ask them how they're doing. Show that you care about them, not just what they do. Again, that's why I'm thankful for that you've invested this time to sit down with me. That's why I try to give the best that I possibly can. Probably I give more than I really should, but I want to invest and give the most into you as possible without asking for anything, because I know what it was to try and do this when you didn't have anybody that wanted to put everything behind a paywall before they would help. I try and do as best as I possibly can with this, and hopefully I've earned the respect to earn you wanting to do a consultation with me. And I don't try and I give anybody who's been on our roundtables, which we are having one on Sunday, knows that I don't hold back. I try and give as much as possible. So thank you for everything that you're doing. I know I'm not a part of your media ministry, but if you weren't doing what you're doing, the body would be missing something. So I hope y'all have a great day, evening, afternoon, wherever you is. Thank you for all of those who've pre-ordered, who are getting the book, and I'm looking forward to this book finally coming out. And again, please be honest, leave a review. If you think the book sucks, hey, put it out there. If you think it's great, hey, that's great. The best thing you can do is recommend it for other people. Don't recommend it just because I wrote it. Recommend it because you got something out of it, then you recommend it. So anyway, folks, y'all have a great day, evening, afternoon, wherever you is, and we'll be talking to y'all later, folks. Thanks. Later.